Here's another area that can cause inflammation from your diet. Probably heard all about gluten. I'm going to drop this article so you can really dig into what you need to do. Not everybody has problems with gluten, but it can be, people have celiac, or they might even just be sensitive to gluten in their diet. So when a lot of times you hear people say gluten-free, they're really eliminating a lot of crap food that might be full of preservatives and other things. But let's just peel back and kind of go over, let's assume that it isn't full of the preservatives and the chemicals and the bad oils and so forth. So if you have some kind of a health condition around gluten, obviously you'd need to remove it from your diet. And here's tips to figure out how to remove it. So you would want to pick gluten-free grains. And some examples are the quinoa, and I probably pronounced that wrong, all these, just look at the list, oats and so forth. Although it says oats contain traces of it, but you also can look for a gluten-free certification label. Eat more fruits and vegetables. They're naturally gluten-free. Instead of bread, ask for a lettuce wrap. Do the veggie noodles instead of regular pasta. Opt for a salad instead of a sandwich. Put meat on your salad instead of inside bread. Roast your potatoes, or instead of obviously putting any kind of coating on them. You can do gluten-free with butternut squash. You can do different things to make it taste like cauliflower, mashed potatoes, and stuff like that. Do a side of, instead of French fries as a side, do fresh fruit or a roasted vegetable. For, a lot of breakfast foods have a lot of gluten in it. Do add more fruit. You can, sweet potato slices if you like that in place of bread. Now, you want to be real careful when you're reading about processed fruits and vegetables, canned stuff. They're going to have additives and thickening agents, so stay away from those. Clean out your pantry, like identify things that have gluten if you're gluten intolerant. Some beverages and beer, there's a biggie, beer. So if you drink beer and you find your stomach feels inflamed, then you have an intolerance to it. So find other alcohol drinks that are different. Wine is free of gluten. Some of the wine coolers and sweetened beverages have the barley in it, which is a gluten. Most beverages like coffee, tea, sparkling water, they're gluten-free. But pre-made smoothies, coffee drinks, milkshake may have added all kinds of stuff and gluten in them. Gosh, if you go to a social event, you might want to bring your own food. That gets really hard. Sometimes you eat it by accident. If you just back off of it again, it'll go away, but just be aware of what it's doing. Eat more nuts and seeds. Here's a whole list of stuff. They're naturally gluten-free. And you notice that they don't even have peanuts on here, but they have everything else. No different names for wheat. Okay, write that down because you may see it listed somewhere. If you cannot tolerate wheat, you want to keep an eye on that. Processed food, that's the biggest. Be really careful that you're reading the labels, because sometimes for processed food, lunch meat, sausage, French fries, rice, they add things in there to improve the taste. So, and then it turns out that sometimes processed gluten-free products have high fat, sugar, and sodium, and not even the healthy sugar. They're not even the right salt, and not the healthy fat. So be really careful when you're reading the labels. They might not even be a replacement. You want to find trustworthy places that seriously are. You literally read the label and you trust the ingredients in it. Whole foods are naturally gluten-free, so that makes that real easy. So someone that really needs to stay away from gluten needs to think about the whole foods. Cook more meals at home because you have more control over what's in it. And pay attention to condiments. They are terrible. Where they have like things added to stabilize, thicken, emulsify the condiments. Salad dressing, make your own with your own. You can just use olive oil and squeeze a little lemon in it. You can make your own salad dressing without buying stuff that's processed and it's left for a shelf life. Pasta sauce, Worcestershire sauce, teriyaki, just look at the label and see if they've added anything in it. And then if there's an allergen label, because some people will say gluten-free, but again, look at the label. That's the key. And the bottom line is some people can eat gluten without any problem, but if you do have a problem, keep an eye on that. You know, when you're eating pastas and stuff like that, if they cause you to inflame, if you ate everything that you normally eat and then you added something that has gluten in it, you eat something that has gluten in it, and the only difference was that, like, you keep your diet very stable and then you add something, like you introduce pasta, and you're doing the difference between, you know, different kinds of pasta. Pay attention to how your body feels the next day. If you all of a sudden put on this weight, that could just be inflammation. So pay attention to you and how you feel after you eat it. I know after I drink beer, I feel real bloated and real full, and then my belly will start to have inflammation on it after I drink beer. So, you know, is it okay to do I have to totally cut off of it? Probably not if I don't have a problem with it, but I need to keep an eye on that, because if I do too much gluten, I'll gain all my weight back and get inflamed, and it'll slowly creep back up.